Okay, so welcome to everybody that has just joined us on Facebook, and hello to people that are watching the recording as well. So this is our second session today with Cecilia Nobre. We'll say hello to Cecilia, but give her a moment to cough.
I'm okay now.
So this session is using resources that aren't textbooks. How are you today, Cecilia?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Joanne. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. Very well. I'm very happy to have you here.
Likewise.
Where are you? Where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Birmingham, UK.
Okay, you're in Birmingham. Okay, so welcome. Always a pleasure. And let me tell our audience a little bit about you. So Cecilia Nobre is a teacher trainer, dip TESOL tutor and mentor with over 20 years of experience. And she's passionate about online teacher development. She's taught in Brazil, the UK, and Turkey. She's currently doing her PhD in applied linguistics at the University of Warwick. She's a co-author of Using Video to Support Teacher Reflection and Development in ELT. Okay, we'll put the reference for that in the chat. That's Equinox Publishing. So welcome, Cecilia. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you so much, Joanne. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Over to you.
Wonderful. All right. Hello, everyone. Hello from wherever you are. If you would like to share on the comments where you're coming from, where you're based. So thank you so much for joining us. My topic is, as you might know, is using resources that aren't textbook or course books. And I have a disclaimer. I have nothing against course books, by the way, okay? I use them sometimes, so I find them useful and practical. However, the purpose of this webinar is to share some ideas with teachers of alternatives. Perhaps you might not have access to course books, or you want to jazz up your lessons a little bit. You want to be more creative, and you don't want to rely on using course books. So that's why I decided to present this webinar. I'm going to share my slides with you. So yes. And in that regards, I will also talk about Dogme teaching, or the Dogme approach. So can you tell me what you think the Dogme approach is, or if you have heard of it, or any keywords that comes to your mind when you think about the Dogme approach? So let me see here on the chat. Emerging language. Oh, I like that. Yes, we are going to talk about that. Emergent language. Great. Learner-centered. Yes, yes. Learner as source of materials. Very good. Sorry, I cannot see who is writing, but collaboration. Yes. Materials light. Very good. Very good. Yes. Excellent. Okay. Let me share again. So you got it. So the Dogme approach is, as you can see here, is an approach that prioritizes authentic, it's conversation-driven, materials light, and it focuses on learners' needs, right? So it uses, as you can see here, it uses students' immediate interests and needs as the basis for lessons, rather than having a pre-selected syllabus or a target language in mind. Okay, so the Dogme approach focuses on students' immediate needs, allowing language to emerge naturally. Someone mentioned emergent language, right? We're going to talk about that as well, to create genuine communication. So how comfortable, my other question, how comfortable do you feel to teach without a script or to teach without a lesson plan? Let me stop sharing again. How comfortable do you, from, you know, from 1 to 10, 10 as being very, very comfortable. How comfortable do you feel? Very comfortable. 8, 9, 4. Okay, okay. Some people feel more comfortable, more confident. Some people not so much. That's okay. And can I ask you, for those who don't feel very comfortable or very confident in teaching without a pre-selected lesson plan, why not? What stops you? What kind of struggle do you think you have? If you write on the chat box. Time consuming, okay, yeah. Okay, time management, right? It might be difficult, it might be a little bit challenging to time the stages of your lesson, right? Because I like structure, yeah, okay. Right, interesting, it disturbs me. That's an interesting answer. Okay, thank you, everyone. Yeah, so I wrote here a few things that I find important for teachers to keep in mind when, you know, if you decide to experiment using the Dogme approach or teaching without a lesson plan, okay? So it's important to be adaptable to the different situations that emerge, right? The different learning opportunities. Another very important trait is to stay alert to your students, to the environment as well. Have strong English skills to identify issues and give clear, helpful feedback. It's important to be responsive as well and quickly adapt to new directions depending on the response from your students. Praise learners' stories and opinions, because I like to say that there's no right or wrong answer, and rather, is this appropriate or not so appropriate, okay? And not to, you know, don't be afraid of waiting time, the wait time. Try not to rush or interrupt students to give an answer. Okay, and can you think of the benefits of the Dogme approach or the Dogme teaching for those who try to use, or for those who are more familiar with the Dogme approach? What are the benefits? Let's try to convince the others. Okay, let me see. Relevant, creative, better engagement, right? Okay. It's learner-centered or student-centered. Yes, okay. It's relevant. Increases motivation. Well, yes, good, good. Self-directed, motivated learning. Excellent. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So these are my opinions, okay, of the benefits. So it saves teachers time, although some people said that it can be time consuming. I would disagree with that, and I will tell you, I'll show you why. It makes teaching less, and by the way, these are my opinions, okay? These are not, these are not empirical findings. These are just my opinions as a trainer, as a teacher, from my experience, okay? It addresses emergent language. Some of you mentioned enhances student participation. It also boosts their confidence, and finally creates this supportive, collaborative, learning environment. And the Dogme approach is a great way to tackle emergent language, if we address students' immediate needs and preferences, emergent language will likely, emerge, learner's language. And what is emergent language? This is a definition by Richard Chin and Danny Norton Davis from their latest book, an amazing book, by the way, working with emergent language. Okay, that's what that's how they define emergent language. It's unplanned language, so there's no script. Okay, unplanned language that is needed or produced by learners during meaning-focused interaction. So they say it's the language that learners need at the point of need. Okay, we don't feed them in advance, but we respond to their needs. Okay, this language is then explored through reformulation, clarification, and support from the teacher. So and let me share some types of emergent language according to Chin and Norton Davis. So they say that errors and communicative breakdowns produced by students, that can be classified as emergent language. However, it's not only errors, okay? It's not just mistakes that our learners produce. Alternative expressions as well, different ways to express the same idea. Also, words or phrases or chunks of language that seem new, interesting, or useful to share with the classroom. Or specific questions learners ask about how the language works. So, for example, if they ask you, teacher, how do I say, this and this and that, or if you speak the same L1 as your student, the same first language, they might ask you, teacher, how do I say in Portuguese, bloco de notas, like this, okay? Notepad. How do I say that? So these are genuine questions that our learners ask, right? So these are also considered emergent language. All right. What are the challenges? So, of course, there are some challenges that teachers face when addressing emergent language. And tell me if these, if you feel the same as these ones. The first one, so do you feel that? Do you think about that? I keep sticking to the textbook because my school requires it. Okay, so maybe that's one reason why some teachers might stay away from, dealing with emergent language or the Dogme approach. Is that you? Tell me in the chat box if this is you or if it's not you. Do you have the freedom? Do you have the freedom to use different materials, different resources in your classroom, or do you have to stick with that course book? No? Okay, good. Parents, okay, parents might require. Okay, Lenka, thank you for that. Yes, parents. All right. Some teachers might feel this way, the second speech bubble. It's tough to handle unexpected moments when they come up during lessons. Do you feel this way? Tell me if it's yes or no. No. Yes. Okay. Lots of yeses. It's difficult to handle. It's, it's out of my comfort zone. Some teachers might feel. Yeah? Yeah, emergent language might take us out of our comfort zones. That's true. But it might be a nice place to be. Okay. The slides are hidden. They are here. And some teachers might feel the third speech bubble. I'm nervous about leaving the course book because I don't feel confident enough. So the course book gives you that feeling of I can rely on it, or you have a teacher's book as well, teacher's notes. So it gives you this sense of confidence. Is that you? For most teachers, Pinar saying for most teachers that's the case, right? Okay, you just don't feel ready, ready enough to go without a course book. That's fine. Hopefully, by the end of this session, you will feel more confident to use different resources. Okay. Okay, and wonderful comments. All right. Right. So this is a simple lesson structure. I don't want to call it a lesson plan or a framework, because these are just some ideas that that you can use in your lesson to be able to respond to your students' needs and questions. Okay. So you might want to start with a lead-in. So do you know what's a lead-in? What's a lead-in for those? What is a lead-in? It usually takes, 1-2 minutes, depending on the topic. An introduction, warm-up. Yes, very good, everybody. Warm-up activity. So the lead-in is that very brief activity that you start your lesson with in order to engage your students with your lesson, with the topic, or you might want to arouse their curiosity, or you might want to set the context, right? So that's the lead-in. Yeah, okay, great. And then you do the task per se, okay? And I'm going to share some different ideas of tasks that you can work with, okay? The other stage would be response to the task. How do you respond to the task? How do other, their classmates respond to the task? Do they enjoy? Do they respond well? Are they interested? So that's the response, okay? And finally, last but not least, the feedback. That's a very important stage as well. Giving feedback on students' language, be it pronunciation or grammar or lexis or discourse as well. Okay, so some people are saying that the slides are not visible. Melissa, can you check? Are the slides visible? Yeah, I can see the slides. Okay, good. All right. Okay, and what are the other ingredients that you can add to your lessons in order to make them more engaging, more responsive to your students' needs? So ask genuine questions, okay? Personal response and evaluative questions rather than those traditional comprehension questions, right? When did so-and-so go on holiday? So these are more traditional questions. So I would say, they are a little bit boring. So try to avoid them and rather use ask more personal response questions and evaluative questions. I'm going to show you an example in a moment, okay? Let's see an example. So I'll give you a minute to read this text about Greta Thunberg. Okay, it's a short biography. And this is from Wikipedia, adapted from Wikipedia. Yeah. How could we work? How would you work with this text in a more responsive way? What kind of questions would you ask students? What kind of questions would you ask students? Based on this text, okay? Based on this text. Okay, why do you think she is relevant today? Okay, that's a personal response question. Who wrote that? Anna Marquez. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay. What do you know about Greta? Right. Who is she? Can you think of a more personal response question that is where the type of questions where students share their opinions, their insights, their ideas? Okay, Deborah, does she make you think about the environment? Very good question, Deborah. Yes, okay, great. Would you like to do the same as Greta? Why? Very good, Anastasia. I like that. What do you know about Fridays for Future? Okay, Tracy, good. Okay, so these are my suggestions, okay? These are boring comprehension questions. At what age did Greta start her climate strike outside the Swedish parliament? And then if you go back to the previous slide, you see that answer straight away. The second boring question, comprehension question. What global movement did Greta's solo protest inspire? Okay, so these are more traditional comprehension questions. If you want to really encourage students, critical thinking, personal opinions, why not try more personal response and evaluative questions? For example, what do you think Greta, what do you think about Greta starting her climate strike at such a young age? Okay. Do you believe Fridays for Future, excuse me, movement, the Fridays for Future movement is an effective way to encourage climate action? Why or why not? Ask them why or why not, okay? So you understand their rationale, their, true opinion. Okay. How well do you think Greta's speeches have helped in getting stronger climate action from world leaders? Okay, so these are more, the last one is more evaluative. So students have to make a judgment, okay? They have to make a judgment. What do you think about the personal response questions? Are they interesting? Are they engaging? Write on the chat box. Engaging, yes. More engaging for sure, yes. So it goes beyond the other set of questions, go beyond what is written on the text, right? So the first set of questions, students only need to skim and scan, and they find the answer, right? Okay, good. Let's see another example. So let's have a look at some tasks that generate authentic communication. Can you think of tasks that generate authentic communication? What kind of tasks? So a little hint for you. Think about task-based learning. Okay, do you like task-based learning? Yeah. So what kind of tasks? Great. So if you think about the task-based approach, what kind of tasks do you think generate authentic communication? Okay, storytelling, yes. Information gap, great. Role play, well done. Storytelling, and now we will see an example. Okay. Problem solving tasks. Ranking tasks, right? Information gaps, someone mentioned, information gaps, debates, and role plays, right? Excellent, excellent. So a little task, let's do a little task with you. Okay. Which kind of task is this? Okay. I'll read for you for those who are struggling to read. So imagine you propose this task in the classroom. You divide students into two groups. One group argues for the use of electric cars as a primary form of transportation, while the other argues for traditional petrol cars. Encourage students to use facts and opinions to support their arguments. What kind of task is it? Is it storytelling, problem solving, ranking, information gap, debates, or role play? What is it? Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Yes, very good. Debate. Yes, because they're going to take one group is going to take one stance and the other group another one, and they have to make their argument, right? Great. Okay, that is a debate. A healthy debate, by the way. A healthy debate. Okay, great. Next one. Oops. Sorry. Next one. Divide the class into two groups again to plan a surprise party for a classmate. One group knows the guest honor's favorite food, okay, of music and available dates, while the other group knows venue and catering options, okay? They must ask each other questions to organize the party without revealing the event's purpose to the guest of honor. What is it? What kind of task is it? Okay. Ooh, some different answers here. So the key sentence is this one, guys. The key sentence is they must ask each other questions. So when they ask each other questions, they don't know something that you know. I don't know something that you know, and you know something that I don't know. What kind of, yes, very good. Information gap, okay? So there is a gap, and I want to fill that gap. I want to find out what that information is. That's an information gap task, okay? Great, great. Another one. All right. So give students a scenario where they're organizing a business trip for their team, okay? They must choose the most suitable travel arrangements, accommodation, activities within a set budget, okay? You give them a budget, considering different team members' preferences and travel restrictions. So it's not whatever, okay? There are some people have some preferences and there are some travel restrictions. They should discuss and agree on a final plan that meets everyone's needs. What kind of task is it? Yes, problem solving. That's it. Very good. Very good. So they must solve that puzzle, that problem, which is organizing a business trip. Yeah, it's problem solving. Very good. Next one. Okay, next one is set up a scenario where one student plays a customer returning a faulty product to a shop, and the other one plays the shop manager. Very good, guys. provide guidelines on the problem with the product and shop's return policy. So you allow students to navigate the conversation to reach a solution. You don't tell the students what the solution is, okay? They have to come up with a solution themselves. Negotiate. So what is it? Well, in a way, problem solving, but I wouldn't say that's the main focus. The main focus here is role play, because they might they might not agree on anything, right? So we don't know what the outcome is. It will be, right? So in this case, this is a role play task. Okay. We don't know what kind of outcome there will be. Okay, great. And I think that's the last one. Imagine your friends are coming over for a film night. Provide a list of film genres: comedy, thriller, action, romance, sci-fi, documentary, etc. Okay, so you have all these options on Netflix. Have students rank based on what would be most enjoyable for the group and justify their rankings to each other before deciding on which film they are going to watch. What kind of task is that? Let's see. Yeah, very good, everyone. Ranking. Yes, that's the word here, right? Ranking. But I was hoping that you didn't notice. But yeah, that's a ranking activity. I have to admit that this is one of my favorite tasks. It's one of my favorite, because there's no right or wrong. It's students really decide, and they have to come up with an explanation, a rationale. So I really like that. Do you like ranking activities? It could be fun, yeah? Can you think of another ranking activity? Very, very simple. They have to rank what? Foods. Yeah, I like that. Persuasion, yes, yes. A holiday destination, yeah. Okay, the weather. Which country has the worst weather? The UK would be the first one. Yeah, and okay, great. Books, yeah, the most engaging books. Rank the most engaging books for children and the least engaging books for children, right? So there are so many options that we can, ranking activities, ranking tasks that we can create. Yeah, great. Okay. Oh, there's one more. I forgot about that. Okay, that's the last one for sure. Ask students to pick an object they love. It could be, yeah, in this case, an object, but it could be anything, okay? And create a short story about a memorable experience related to that object. Encourage them to share their stories with the class, focusing on expressive language and detailed descriptions. And students can ask questions while yeah, very good, storytelling. Yes, yes. Okay, great, storytelling. Excellent. Which one would you like? Which of these tasks would you like to try in your classroom next week, if you had the chance? Which task? Which role play? Okay, role play, storytelling, problem solving. Oh, so many. Information gap. Nobody said ranking. Okay, there are some rankings one. Okay, great. Yeah, you see, so you don't need a course book to create a task and to propose that to students, do you? You don't need. Okay, great. Fab. All right, and yes, okay. And this is an idea of you for you to provide structured feedback on learners' emergent language. Okay. I got this from I watched my friend Richard Chin's talking about emergent language. By the way, he is amazing, Richard Chin. Okay, if you want to know all about emergent language, check out his work online, blog posts, and etc. And he provided this little, excuse me, table. And this is also on their book. So how can you give feedback? How can you respond to learners' emergent language? So what you said, so let's say your student said, my first day of work was very nervous, something like that. So this is exactly what student said. And then you can reformulate that very sentence, okay? I was really nervous on my first day at work. It was nerve-wracking. And so then you're presenting this adjective, nerve-wracking, that perhaps they might not know. And then use that new language in another context. Taking the final exam was nerve-wracking. So they can see that the piece of language being used in a different context. Sorry. Make a question in practice. Make a question with that word and get students to practice. Can you describe an experience that was nerve-wracking for you? So you see, this is a personal response question. I have no idea what the student is going to say, but hopefully they will understand that nerve-wracking, nerve-wracking experience. Okay. And then you can provide related lexes or chunks with that new language. A nerve-wracking experience, to be on the edge, have butterflies in one's stomach. So similar lexes. Okay, so that's one way to provide structured feedback on learners' emergent language. Right, and let's have a look at other materials that you can use in the classroom. How much time do I have? I have a few more minutes. Okay, so I'm going to show you different materials and different activities that you can do in the classroom. Okay, so you can use authentic texts. Okay, this one was this is a adapted version from the conversation, the site, the news site, The Conversation. Okay, so just a very, a quite regular text about speed limit. Okay, that's an authentic text, by the way. I adapted it with ChatGPT. I wanted to make it shorter, so I used ChatGPT for that. So that's the text, okay? What can you do with this text? Let me stop sharing. What could you do with that text? What kind of questions, what kind of activities? Create a debate, okay? Create a debate. Running dictation, yeah. Okay, agree, okay, right. Cut into chunks and then analyze vocabulary, yes, okay, great. Right, let me share again and I will give you share some ideas with you. So a text that you can find online, right? If you want to adapt, you might want to use ChatGPT for that, to summarize it, to make it easier, perhaps depending on the student's level. There you go. Remember, personal response questions. So I'm going to ask some personal response questions rather than traditional comprehension questions, okay? So these are some personal response questions. So you see here the words that I highlighted. Do you think? So I want students' opinion. Do you think lower speed limits in your neighborhood would make a positive difference? Why or why not? How might a 20 miles per hour, so that's about 32 kilometers, speed limit affect your daily travel? That's a very interesting question, don't you think? I would hate, I would hate having to drive at that speed limit. What about you? How would you answer that second question? How would you answer that second question, guys? So let's see. Mohammed said it would be horrendous to be limited at that. Yes, I agree, Mohammed. Deborah said I would have to get up earlier in the morning. Yes, yeah. Great. Oh, really, Chloe? You're living in Edinburgh and it is like that. Oh, wow. Okay. So you see, you are sharing your personal experiences, right? And that's amazing. That's very engaging. Another question, do you believe? So look at this chunk. Do you believe? I'm asking for students' opinion. Okay, do you believe that safety benefits of a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit outweigh the potential delays? It's a very interesting question. Why? Okay. And an evaluative question. In your opinion, how could a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit affect local businesses and transportation? How would that affect? Think about both good and bad effects. Okay. So again, here I want learners' opinion, judgment, assumptions. I want to hear. Right? Okay, great. Now, other materials other resources that you can use are images and stories. So can you recognize the first image? By the way, these are my own photos. Okay. I want you to ask me questions about the first image and the second image. Okay, so suppose you are my students. I want you to ask me questions about the first image. Who is singing? That's not a singer. Good question, but it's not a singer. He is a comedian. He's a comedian. I went to a stand-up comedy. I did enjoy very much, Chloe. Yes. Nobody asked about the name of the comedian. You might know this comedian. Did you have fun? Yes, I did. Where was it? It was in Birmingham. It was in Birmingham Arena. It is Bassem. Do you know Bassem? Egyptian-American comedian. What was he talking about? Oh, he made so many jokes about, I cannot share, but it was really nice. Political jokes. Okay. So great. Bassem Youssef. That's it. Bassem Youssef. Love him. Love him. Okay. Second image. Second image. What's the connect? Oh, I really like that, Piali. Oh, wow. I really like that. What is the connection between the two pictures? They are actually not connected because they were taken on different days. But I would say the connection is that in both pictures, I was having fun. In both pictures, I was having fun. So questions about the second picture. Was it free? The pool table or the comedy? No, none of them was. Neither of them was free. No. Did you win? One round I did win, Chloe. What are the game rules? Don't ask me. I don't know the game rules. We just played like. Okay. How do you play this game? You have to hit the white ball. Okay. So you see, you are asking questions, genuine questions, right? Because you don't know the answers, and I'm giving you genuine answers. Okay, just with two simple questions, simple pictures that I have on my phone. Okay. Your partner was happy. My friend, she was happy, yeah, but she was not as good as me. Okay, great questions, everyone. Great questions. Another way of using pictures is, and I really like this one, is a picture caption. And this again is a real picture. This is my picture, okay? The girl on the picture is not me. The cat on the picture is my cat, okay? So you might want to ask your students to write a funny caption for this picture, okay? So can you write a funny caption for this picture very quickly, everyone? What do you think? How do you think my cat feels here? What are they doing? You're killing my cat. Of course not. They were trimming his nails because he's scratching the carpet. He's scratching everywhere. He was scratching everywhere. Okay. Narinel, let me go. I like that, Narinel. Let me go. Cat grooming, exactly. Yes. Help. Yeah. Yeah. Mahima, a pampering session for the cat. Yes. Catting. Okay, that's so many interesting, so many funny captions. Well done, everyone. Yeah, so you see, this one is a nice activity to do even with beginner students, because you're just stimulating what they want to say, or what they are able to write using what they know, their own repertoire, right? I really revenge human, I like that. Okay, great. Okay, and you can also use videos, okay? This is a great video by the Hack. The YouTube channel is The Hack, and this video is living on £1 a day. Let me just play just the first seconds.
Listen over. Okay, thanks.
I forgot to share the sound, so I'm sorry. You might not be able to listen to it. I'm sorry. But it's an interesting video, okay? Authentic video. I think he was in, I don't remember if he was in London or, I think that's in London. Can you imagine? Spending a day in London with £1? He did it. Okay, he did it. So you can use a video from YouTube or social media, Instagram Reels or Facebook videos as well. Okay, and then ask some personal response and evaluative questions. So for example, how would you feel about living on just £1 a day for a week in your city? So if you're not in the UK, do the conversion to your local currency. Okay. So for example, in Brazil, I'm from Brazil. In Brazil, that would be about 6 reais. 6 reais, which is not much. Do you think it would be possible to find free food? Ask your students this question. Okay. if you were to try the 1 pound a day challenge, which hack from the video, so you have to watch the whole video, okay? Do you think would be most useful for you? Why? The YouTuber shows a positive attitude even when facing setbacks like closed locations. We didn't have time to watch the whole thing, but the YouTuber went to a food bank, and I think it was closed. But he was, it didn't bother him really, so he was okay with that. So the question is, how do you usually react when things, don't go as planned? Okay. Fourth question is the evaluative question, right? Based on the video, what are the pros and cons of relying on free resources like the ones shown in the video? Okay. Do you think this approach to living on a budget is sustainable in the long term? So can you answer very quickly? Can you answer the third question for me? So suppose you are my students. How do you usually react when things don't go as planned? Big money, right? Yeah, big money. Cry, get nervous. Okay, depends how serious it is. You get upset, yeah? Okay. And then you can do a ranking task. Remember ranking task. I told you it's one of my favorite types of tasks. So a ranking task. Imagine you are planning to try living on £1 a day. Below are several strategies from the video. Rank these strategies from the most to the least useful for someone trying the challenge in a big city. Big city, okay? So your students, they can do that individually, or they can do that in groups or in pairs. But remember to ask them to provide reasons for their ranking. Provide reasons. And I don't think I have time for that, right? Melissa, how much time do I have, if any? I don't think I have.
We've got 5 minutes left for questions, so it'd be good to leave a bit of time at the end.
Sure. Yeah. So I can skip that. Another material, another resource is audio. Okay, you can ask students to record themselves via audio. If you use WhatsApp, there is also a website called Vukaru. They can save the audio and send to you, and you can ask them different questions. Okay. And learner generated materials as well. I don't think we have time for that. But for example, they can complete these dialogues. Don't give them the answer, but they can complete the dialogues. Okay. For example, drinking tea. Give a scenario, and then how would they respond to that scenario? Okay. And you can do that with any kind of scenario. Any kind of scenario. If you teach business, you can do that in a business scenario. If you teach travel English. Okay. So students have to come up with their own ideas, opinions, lines. And that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. If you want to connect with me, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm always posting, sharing webinars, sharing resources there. So feel free to follow me. Thank you so much, Joanne.
Thank you, Cecilia. That was wonderful. There are so many brilliant ideas in there. And thank you for making it so interesting and interactive. We don't have too much time, so let's go straight to questions and see what we can do. So there's a question here from Obed, who says, at what language levels is the Dogme approach most suited?
I believe, and this is also in literature, we can use the Dogme approach for all levels, okay? Of course, if you use the Dogme approach with beginners, they would we would have to support them more. For example, you can use glossary, you can use learners L1, use pictures. So but you can still use the Dogme approach with beginner students, okay? But that would require more support from you, from their peers.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So that's good to know. And yeah, talking about support, there's another question
Yeah.
on a similar topic, which is from Danish, who says, what I've struggled to do using this approach is scaffold for lower levels.
Right.
Teach a multi-level classroom.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for scaffolding for lower levels?
Mm-hmm. Yes, as I said, we can use, if you speak the same L1 as students, okay? If you speak the same L1, the same first language, you can give the instructions of a task in students L1, or ask another classmate to help you with, with the instructions part, for example. Another thing is to have a glossary of key terms with you, and provide this glossary or handout with definition of words, for example, to that specific student. You can also grade the task. So instead of asking them to provide you with an explanation, you might ask them to draw. Why do you think this is important? So they can draw instead of explaining with their own words. So there are different techniques.
Oh, that's really okay. All of those ideas are brilliant. Yeah, you're just making me think. When I used to teach lower levels, I sometimes used to get them to like draw 3 things they did at the weekend.
There you go.
And then explain it, because it gives them a bit of thinking time first.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah.
like all the difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get them to rehearse first.
Right.
To give them this time for for practicing and feeling confident.
Right. Okay, exactly. Rehearse.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking time.
Thinking time, yes.
time.
Waiting time is so important, so important.
Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, I'm sorry we don't have more time, but as I mentioned in the previous session, Cecilia will be back on Teaching English on Facebook a week today, right?
Yes,
Next Friday.
yes.
Okay, so Cecilia and Majo will both be there to answer your questions live on Facebook. Any questions you have about the sessions today or managing resources, please join us and we can continue the conversation there. So thank you so much to
Thank you so much.
who is on Facebook. Thank you again, Cecilia, and
thank you, everyone.
who is here as ever moderating in the chat. So in 15 minutes time, we're starting our final session, which is a panel session, and we have 3 expert teachers sharing their ideas for things you can do in class without a course book. Don't forget the Teaching English survey as well. We'll share the link to that. So as I said before, we're doing a big survey about all of our Teaching English resources and activities. So not just the webinars, but lesson plans, articles, the community, everything. We would love to hear your opinions. So if you have maximum 15 minutes it will take you, but that would be really, really useful to help us improve. So thank you if you can do that. Okay, wonderful. Right, I'll say goodbye to everybody now, and we'll be back in 15 minutes.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.